2023 has been an incredibly difficult year for the trans community. Anti-trans state laws and rhetoric have made it dangerous, and that was never more true in Atlanta in April. The most watched stories of the year, number 7 of 23. Kokomo City trans documentary star Koko the doll killed in Atlanta.
Right now, Atlanta police say they are also investigating 3 shootings involving transgender women. They've all happened this year. Police say an unknown woman was shot on Highland Avenue on January 9th after an argument. Then on April 11th, Ashley Burton was shot and killed at an apartment complex on Fairburn Road. And on Tuesday, Koko was gunned down on Martin Luther King Jr. Drive Southwest. So Atlanta police sent us this statement saying officers are committed to identifying everyone involved in these incidents. The department also said its LGBTQ plus liaison is aware and closely monitoring these investigations.
Koko, whose non-performance name was Rashida Williams, starred in the Sundance Film Festival documentary Kokomo City, along with Daniela Carter, Leah Mitchell, and Dominique Silva. Was found dead in Atlanta on Tuesday. She was 35. Atlanta police found Koko with a gunshot wound around 11 p.m. at a shopping center. Authorities announced her dead at the scene. While police haven't identified Koko as the victim of the fatal shooting, several cast members of Kokomo City and Smith have taken to social media to confirm it was Koko. Besides the film, Koko was also a rapper. Kokomo City won the NEXT Audience and Innovator awards at Sundance. The film was acquired by Magnolia Pictures and will hit theaters later this year, and also makes its South Florida debut tomorrow, April 25th, at the OUTshine LGBTQ Film Festival. LGBTQ media advocacy group GLAAD wrote on its website, quote, "Williams should be alive today. All transgender people deserve to live in safety and acceptance, be beloved by their families, communities, and able to contribute to a world where all are free," end quote. A GoFundMe to help Koko's family with funeral costs has raised more than $13,000 at the time of publication. Koko is the 3rd transgender woman to be a victim of violent crimes in Atlanta this year. Another trans woman, Ashley Burton, was killed earlier this month. You know, I couldn't help but think, because there was a little discussion while the video was going on. I've heard the analogy of a tennis ball machine, and the tennis balls just keep lobbing at us all as a group. You know, they come for the gays, they come for the drag queens, they come for the trans people. And here we are trying to dodge it all. And
what other choice do we have?
True, but you know, I wrote down in my notes, back in the 90s when I was living in New York City, we had a group called the Anti-Violence Project.
AVP.
Yeah. I still have the whistle they issued me. It was one of those old-fashioned police whistles, and it's like, do we need to go back to that, where it's like...
Yes.
I mean, I'll go to my shoebox where I know I have it and pull it off the long link of key rings I have, because it's, you know...
I'm curious, and probably an unpopular question. Many viewers are going to not appreciate the question. Do you feel like you're being attacked? Personally, you? Yes or no?
Yes, because...
What's happened to you in the last month that you feel attacked?
I don't feel safe in my own house.
Why?
And because I think it's only a matter of time before...
That's a projection of what is to come. Do you feel unsafe?
I personally, no.
And Mark, do you feel unsafe?
No.
Okay. See, I
it's
just have to
we've
take
talked
a
about
moment.
in the past. Yeah.
I have to take a moment to say this story is about a very specific segment of our community.
Yes.
And what I think is going on frequently is the trans community is under full attack and afraid all of the time. Mm-hmm. Drag queens cannot, I've heard many queens say and talk about how they're going to get to a venue and where they're going to dress and they're going to do their makeup because they can't do what they want once would have done and prepare the presentation in home and take the car, because they can't do that. That's not my experience. That's not your experience.
It
That's
is
not
mine.
your, okay, but I don't think that that is mostly most privileged white gay men's experience.
To your point, that there was a HRC study that came out last year. So I wanted to look up the numbers on this. 63% of victims of fatal violence are Black transgender women.
And I think the point of this story is that there are portions of our community that are in full danger. But I don't think most of us generally of a certain age and a certain race have the same experience. I'm not under the same attack. And as a result, I can't help but wonder if maybe that's why we're not as engaged on these issues as we should be.
Well, we talk about this very often on this show. Remember just a few months, I'm old enough to remember just a few months ago when we talked very heavily, as we still do, but we talked very heavily about the trans community. And are we going to stand together as an LGBTQ plus and really include the T and really stand up for the T? I did not see the whole drag thing coming. I really didn't see that coming. It started with Our House, if you remember, of course. That's why the first thing. And then it was like, oh, wow, I did not see that coming.
Yeah.
And so now, maybe there's not the same level of, but it is, as you say, it's very close. Because if a queen can't get ready at home and even put on her face and get in the car and go, then that's true danger.
Yeah.
So now, the true heroes, sheroes, if you will, of our community are the ones most at risk and most in danger. And it still comes back to, are we going to stand up and stand true and stand together?
I think
and
that's
we must.
the pinnacle
We must.
question of
We must.
2023. Are we going to or not? You know, and we have to move on. But it's interesting to me, to the point that you just made, is literally, we talk Stonewall. Literally, the activism in 1969 was trans women of color and trans women and drag queens.
Hello. Yes.
They dragged us along with
Literally.
Literally. And now they're crying in need for us.
Unfortunately, there is a school of thought that would like to erase that, because I've heard it personally.
Yeah.
It's wrong, I get it, but there is a school of thought that would like to pretend that didn't happen, or it didn't happen the way history wrote it.